Hi everybody, welcome to another video. Let's talk about the Charmer Structure deck. This was meant to come out in Japan on June 20th, but because of the coronavirus, it was delayed to, or no, but amid the 2020 coronavirus pandemic, it was delayed for 2 weeks. However, there hasn't been an official reason why it has been delayed. Um, no word from Konami at all why, whether it was due to the coronavirus that they weren't able to get some of the stuff in time to help promote it or anything like that. It just says, oh, we're just delaying it for 2 weeks. Um, it doesn't have an extra deck, this structure deck, so we're not getting any extra deck monsters for the Charmers. It's going to contain 4 super rares, 6 normal parallel rares, and 30 commons. For the Japanese, we'll probably get something a bit different. They're going to get the deck enhancement packs. We never get that, so don't be expecting that. 1 of 5 super rare tokens, and 1 of 5 double-sided playfield playing guides, which means there's 1 for every attribute, and then I think 1 where they're all combined together. So it's kind of like they're all going to be collector's items, essentially, is what they're promoting there. My thoughts on the structure deck, I'm a bit worried about it. I feel like when this comes out, it's going to be the weakest of the 3 that we've had in this series. The Shaddoll structure deck, when it came out, for anybody knowing, I thought it was brilliant. Support was very good for it. Sacred Beast, again, very good. Surprised that they made the support very good for it after everything that happened. With the deck, with it being very inconsistent and being very sparse. It's not an archetype. It wasn't an archetype when it first came out, and the first wave of support didn't help it. But with this new set of support, it really did help a lot. Put the deck towards an archetypal direction, and it's actually fairly consistent from what it can do. But I have worries about the Charmer structure deck, mainly for the fact that it doesn't have a direction. There isn't really a theme with them per se, and they're quite all over the show when it comes to what they did with all the support. Every sort of set of support that's came out for them, they all do something very different, and I'm a bit worried that it's going to be all over the show for the support. They're going to pick a theme, they're going to go down that route, but because of all the different things, they're going to have to try. It was like with it's like with the Sacred Beasts. They got 3 very different cards that in practice don't work with each other, and they had to make them work together. But instead of 3, they have 4 this time, plus all their familiars and stuff like that. So we got the first card that they announced for it, which was their field spell, Grand Spiritual Art Ichiran. It's an okay field spell. It doesn't really give a hint about what they want to really do with the deck. The only hint that I'm getting is it's going to be something to do with negation. They may be going to build a control variant of this deck. But once per turn, while you control a spellcaster with 1500 defense, negate any monster effect activated by your opponent. So basically, when you activate the field spell and summon a monster and then go off with like search spells, draw spells, they can't Ash Blossom you. They can't Effect Veiler you the first time. They can't Ghost Ogre you the first time. Essentially. So during your turn, it gives you a bit of protection, which is essential. And then it does search out, but it doesn't 1-for-1 itself. It -1s you still, because you have to shuffle a card back in the deck once you've searched out the monster that you're wanting to get. So overall, it's okay. I would have preferred if it had the shuffle effect removed. I think it would have been good support. But like I says, I don't know what way they want to build this. So unless the shuffling back in the deck helps it somehow, I don't really know. The only thing that we've been confirmed for the structure deck is they're giving they're reprinting the 4 original Charmers, which are flip effect monsters. They are not really great, and they're very situational. And they all are also printing Awakening of the Possessed. This was Charmer support that came out a few years ago. It's okay. It's good. Monsters you control gain 300 for each attribute you control. Charmer and familiar possessed monsters you control cannot be destroyed by card effects, so it gives them protection from like lightning storm and stuff like that. And then if a spellcaster with 1850 original attack is normal special, summon to your field, draw a card. This is where I feel like they don't know what way they want to do it, because they're reprinting the old Charmers, but the newer Charmers, the familiar possessed ones, which were very good upgrade versions of it, are the better ones, but they want to focus on the older ones, which seems to be strange because all the newer ones had 1850 attacks. So that's why I feel like personally they should push towards the familiar possessed stuff rather than the older stuff. Um, the fact that it's getting reprinted as well is nice. It was okay when it came out. Didn't really help push the deck in any real relevant direction, but it helped them a lot, I think, in ways that they didn't expect. But the problem that we have with this is we haven't had any more word about what was happening with this structure deck. Because of the delay, I don't expect it to start coming out until June 20th. But the fact that we haven't received any further updates is kind of worrying to me. I kind of feel like, if anything, this might be one of the few structure decks, like the gear-free structure deck, that we'll maybe get in a booster box rather than an actual structure deck. Because if the support isn't great, we'll probably not get it in a structure deck, unless they print like a load of support and they sort of have to put in the structure deck. Personally, how I feel they should do it is the control aspect. You know, have Awakening of the Possessed, have the continuous trap card, which we haven't even been confirmed in the structure deck either. And as well, on top of that, they should go down this control route. So, for example, spell and trap lineups that can't prevent them from being destroyed by battle, card effects, targeted. They can negate card effects just being on the board. I feel like that aspect of it should be explored and should be the main focus of the deck. And then whenever you special summon these monsters, you get this card advantage, essentially. I feel like that's the route that they should really go for. The one thing being, they've released the tokens, and the issue I have with it is that they're not essential to the deck. They're just collector's items. While it's nice to get tokens like that, to me personally, tokens should be something that you should be able to use with the deck. Things like the generator tokens, Sky Striker tokens, things like that. But the way that they've promoted this is like, oh, the tokens don't really help in the deck in any way. They're just nice wee story elements. You get to see what the Charmers do on their day-to-day basis. It's like, it's not something we really needed. It could have been card art that we could have used for Charmer support rather than just tokens. And it's just useless cardboard at that point then, apart from the fact that they're tokens that can be used in various different decks. But it's not like there's not a flood of tokens already on the market already. So personally, I'm a bit worried that this structure deck is going to flop. I feel like when they did the poll, I think they sort of expected this to be one of the few archetypes that probably got pushed under the rug. But it didn't. It got third place, and then fourth was Crystal Beasts and fifth was Trap Tricks. Also, for anybody wondering my thoughts and feelings on whether they're going to do that, is them two structure decks? I don't think so. We've been getting that much support for Crystal Beasts and Trap Tricks over the last couple of years. I don't think they'd put in the structure deck unless they've got a load of support sitting in the wings ready to put in the structure deck that they're just wanting to announce. But if they were to do the Crystal Beasts, it'd be nice reprints. The Trap Trick stuff as well is very expensive, so if they did that in structure deck, it'd be good reprints as well. But overall, I think this is where they're going to be really stressed in what they want to do. Now, I could be mistaken. I will point that out now. I could be mistaken, and they print probably some of the best Charmer support ever, and that could put this tier in the tier 1 status. I don't know. Personally, though, with the way the Charmers play and the fact that they're a very old archetype, I feel like this isn't going to work. I feel like it's going to be stretched very thin. Its support is going to push itself to the point where it has to break itself in order to make it good. And that's where I'm kind of worried about it. But the fact that we haven't received even like another card to try and get people drummed back up for support for it. Because don't forget, guys, this is meant to be released 2 weeks from tomorrow, and we still it got delayed. And the fact that they didn't even on the delay be like, oh, by the way, guys, we know we're delaying this. Here's another card that's going to go into the structure deck, just to give you an idea of what we want to do with it. They only released the field spell, and that's it, and the tokens. And to be fair, people are like, yay, tokens, but at the same time, it's like, what other cards are we getting with this stuff? They're not really drumming up support for it now, and I kind of feel like when they do, and if it's good support, a lot of people will be very excited for it. But the fact that there's been such a long period of time between when this was announced, which I believe was in March, to now, we haven't got anything new. And I'm worried that they don't want to reveal anything because they kind of don't want people to bash on it and not sell well and stuff like that. But that's my thoughts and feelings on it, guys. Please leave a like and subscribe. Any comments below, how you feel about it and stuff like that. I'll see you guys in the next video.